So Blade & Soul's new Zen Archer class is actually lit. Like, it is so much fun and incredibly powerful. I have played every single class since the game launched, and although I enjoyed Warden, I will admit that I have not had this much fun playing a ranged class in Blade & Soul. Now, before we get into the video, I do want to preface this by stating that the team behind Blade & Soul reached out to me and offered to sponsor a playthrough of the new Zen Archer class. They provided me a level 60 character voucher and allowed me to showcase what the new class played like at endgame to offer you all more of like a first-hand look. If you like what you see, then you can go right ahead and click the link in the description in the pinned comment to play Blade & Soul completely free. So, if you have been living under a rock for like the last few years, Blade & Soul is an action MMO with arguably one of the better action combat systems out there. The game is 100% free to play, so any and all purchases you make are completely optional and up to you. There are no fees required to play the game at all. What I wanted to go over specifically today though was the brand new large content update Storm of Arrows. See, traditionally in MMOs, or rather games in general, I like to play as the mage class. This is because I enjoy exploding things with fireballs. So I'm a little, I guess, inept at other forms of ranged classes, specifically archers. So I do apologize in advance for being terrible at this. The newest class, the Zen Archer, is the 5th ranged class in Blade & Soul thus far, with it being the most recent addition to the game overall. The last ranged class was the Gunslinger, and that was all the way back in 2017. One thing that I've always liked about Blade & Soul is the frequency of the updates and the fact that they keep the game fresh with brand new classes to try out and enjoy. It, like keeps things from getting redundant. The Zen Archer is restricted to the Jin and the Yun races, but honestly, can you guys imagine like hitting a little mobile Lin Archer? Just take a moment here and imagine a little Lin hiding in like a tiny bush and just popping out and ambushing you with a volley of arrows. Yeah, that is scary. The class itself was interesting to me though. You had the ability to engage enemies close range, like not close as in a melee character, but you had skills meant specifically for close quarter combat. Then you had skills to disengage from combat, your typical long range skills, and man was I powerful. Like I remember my Hong Moon level being, I think, 13 on my Warden, and I felt ridiculously powerful then, but let me tell you, I felt unstoppable. This led me to queue for the brand new dungeon introduced with the Storm of Arrows update, Cathedral Cliffs. This dungeon specifically is targeted at players with a minimum Hong Moon level of 21, and is currently the most difficult dungeon found within the game. All dungeons are 6-player co-op, meaning that you can have a maximum number of 6 players within the dungeon at any given time. But you're not required to fill out that party. Since Cathedral Cliffs has such a high Hong Moon requirement, not many people were actually queuing for it when Mrs. STIX and I tried searching for a party. Thus, we figured, you know what? How difficult can a dungeon really be? So we opted to tackle it just the 2 of us, and upon entering, had several other people join to aid us. And even so, this is pretty much what happened. Yeah, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is why there are Hong Moon requirements on dungeons. And also why the dungeon is probably the most difficult thing you'll come across in game. Well, that and the brand new raid that also accompanies Storm of Arrows, the Throne of Oblivion. Actually, the Throne of Oblivion has an entry requirement of Hong Moon level 17, so theoretically, you might have better luck just running that if you're on the lower spectrum of the Hong Moon level. Raids in Blade & Soul are 12-player instances, so you're going to need a few friends before deciding to tackle it. And by a few friends, I mean like a dozen or so. Or you could pug it, but I really have a very bad history with pugs. Now, instanced content and the new Zen Archer were not the only things added. Nope. As per every Blade & Soul update, there was a lengthy extension to the story. I'm not gonna go ahead and spoil anything for you other than what you're seeing in the video, but suffice it to say, the story is one of the things that really gripped me with this game and is one of the main reasons that I still, to this day, continue to come back. I thoroughly enjoy the story, and I'm back every large update to see what happens next. To showcase the Zen Archer, I didn't want to do exclusively dungeon or raid related content, so I did visit a few other hotspots. I went ahead and did some of the daily and weekly challenge quests. These generally require you enter dungeons, but they aren't limited to instances. I went back to the Celestial Basin. I actually still have a little PTSD from this place. And finally, one of the things that aided me in leveling but didn't exclusively offer XP items, but a much larger array of goodies was the Bountiful Harvest Treasure Trove. Mrs. STIX just YOLO'd her options, clicking whatever looked the sparkliest. I opted for as many XP items as possible so I could gain the largest level advantage over my competition. You get 1 free treasure trove key per day. When you open the treasure trove, you're given the option of purchasing 1 item with gold from the random selection of items that are generated. While you will find XP items as I mentioned, other items will consist of cosmetic items such as costumes, pets, upgrade materials, and other items. And that was pretty much it. I did a lot on the Zen Archer and had an absolute blast playing the new class. It is by far one of my 3 favorite classes in game right now. The new content is incredibly difficult, requiring you have an actual understanding of mechanics both of your class and the bosses. If you're interested again in trying out either the new class, the new dungeon and raid content, or you're just like me and are interested in the ever-evolving storyline, then go ahead and use my link in the description in the pinned comment. It'll take you right to the game so you can play it. But that is just my opinion, my first impression of this new update. What do you guys think? Did you enjoy it? Do you enjoy it? Will you try it out or do you even want to? Let me know in the comments below and let's talk about it. Anyway guys, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
Oh,